Okay, so we're gonna get started, and then as I see people coming in, I'll let them join. But hi, everyone. I'm Miss Cynthia. I am an instructor and STEM coordinator at the Citizen Science Lab. And this week, I'll be teaching you guys the cabbage pH solution experiment. Okay, so some of you guys have your video on. We would just request that you turn it off if you don't feel comfortable, but I do have everyone muted so that you guys are able to hear me as best as you can, okay? So, we're first going to start with a little bit of an introduction and guidelines, okay? So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. If you look down below, you guys will see that you have a chat option. If you guys could give me a smiley face if you see my screen, that would help me to know that you guys are able to see it. Sweet. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Carrie Ann. If you are not able to see my screen, you guys can also message me in the comments as well. Your chat should be at the bottom row, and it should just say chat. Okay, awesome. All right, sweet. Fantastic. So everyone can see my screen. All right. So I'm just going to go over the virtual lab guidelines, right? So, oh, another chat. All right. Thank you, Marky. So we want to refrain from commenting without first raising your hand or being acknowledged by the instructor. That just means that if you guys want to say something, just make sure that you chat with me first in the chat before just unmuting yourself or turning on your video. And I'm gonna make sure that I answer everyone's questions, okay? I'm going to give you guys a Zoom poll at the beginning and the end of the experiment, just so that I can gauge where you guys were before the lab and after the lab, okay? So I just want you to try your best and participate. Some of the words you probably have never heard of before, some of the terms you guys haven't heard of before, techniques, all of that, that's totally fine. Just try your best and give your best answer. And make sure to have fun, right? So we are going through a difficult time, and what we want to do at the Citizen Science Lab is just maintain a level of proper instruction and good science enthusiasm, right? So that you guys can keep your spirits up during this time. But if you have any concerns, just make sure to chat with me in the message box, okay? I feel like a YouTuber. Down below, look for the link, right, JK? Right, so we're gonna start with our poll questions, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you guys this poll. I'm gonna give you guys about 5 minutes to respond to the poll. Take your time. If you don't know many of the terms, that's totally okay. We're all here to learn, right? I just wanna gauge what you guys know so far before the lecture portion, okay? So I'm gonna launch this poll, and then you guys can start. Is everyone seeing the poll? I'm not seeing any. Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So make sure you guys are answering the poll as best as you can. Give you guys about 5 minutes. So far, we've only had 2 out of 10 people voted. Please make sure you guys are voting. Okay, so we only have 50% of the participants voting. If you guys have not voted yet, please make sure to vote. You guys are doing a great job. So we just need one more person. And take your time. Okay. Awesome. So we have some really correct answers. So I'm really proud of you guys. Okay, cool. You guys know your stuff. All right. So we're going to start the lab. Just remember that this is the, Cabbage pH indicator solution experiment. So we're going to use a pigment from our cabbage in order to test the pH of our different solutions, okay? So some of you guys might have received an email with a prep video on how to create your cabbage juice indicator solution. And it's totally okay if you guys did not get the chance to make your cabbage pH solution. That's totally fine. This lab is being recorded, so once our lab and our experiment is over, we can email you this lab so that once you have your solution finished, you can just go back and redo the lab with us, okay? So if you do have your solutions, if you do have your lab materials, just make sure that you have vinegar, lemon juice, apple juice. I'm really sorry that says tomato. I actually used apple juice in the lab. Distilled water, but tap water is totally fine. Salt water, bleach, milk of magnesia, baking soda, Alka-Seltzer that was dissolved in water. And another name for Alka-Seltzer is just antacid tablets, okay? So if you go to the grocery store and get the generic version, it's totally fine. Then you'll need Alka-Seltzer dissolved in vinegar, red cabbage, and then clear plastic cups, okay? All right. So we're first going to start with what is pH. So the pH scale is used to measure how acidic or basic something is. And so a solution is considered acidic when it has a pH below 7, and a solution is considered basic when it has a pH above 7. And I know you're probably thinking, Okay, so what about 7, right? So 7 is actually considered the neutral category for solutions in terms of pH. So water would fall in the middle of acids and bases. And acidic solutions or acids, like I just said, have a higher concentration of hydrogen ions. Okay, so on your poll, it said a solution is considered acidic if it has a blank, blank, blank. And the answer to that was a higher concentration of hydrogen ions, okay? So acidic solutions have more hydrogen ions. These are hydrogen ions that have actually lost an electron and now have a more positive electric charge. And if you know about acids, they actually tend to taste sour and are able to corrode metals. So common acids that you're probably familiar with are sulfuric acid, which is battery acid, hydrochloric acid, which is stomach acid, acetic acid, and even citric acid, which you can find in lemons, oranges, those types of things. Okay, so when you think of really sour things, or sour solutions, I mean, or other solutions that seem to erode things, though corrode, I mean, those are your acids. Okay, so I see we have a couple of chats. Okay. Thank you, Carrie Ann, for answering that question. Um, Basic solutions, on the other hand, contain more hydroxide ions. So in comparison, acidic solutions have more hydrogen ions, and basic solutions have more hydroxide ions, okay? And bases have a bitter, chalky, soapy, slippery type of feel and taste, okay? So some common bases are sodium hydroxide, so Drano, sodium bicarbonate, which is baking soda, potassium hydroxide, which is liquid soap, and even bleach. Bleach is also considered a base, okay? And then, like I said earlier, neutral solutions like distilled water have a balanced number. So water has just as many hydrogen ions as it does hydroxide ions, okay? So that keeps it in the middle and it allows it not to fall in either acid or base, okay? All right, so has anyone ever seen the pH scale? Okay. So what the pH scale is, it's actually used to measure acidity on a scale of 1 to 14. So like I said earlier, acids are considered to have a pH below 7. Bases are considered to have a pH above 7. Okay. So 1 would be the most acidic solution, and 14 would actually be the most basic solution. And the pH scale, as you see, also has a bunch of different colors, right? So our acids tend to fall when you test the color of a solution using an indicator solution. You notice that the acids are more red, orange, and yellow, while the bases are more blues, dark purples, and purples, right? And then in the middle, we have our neutral solutions like water, which are more green. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to use the pH scale to compare the pH of solutions using an indicator solution, which will change color, okay? And in our experiment today, Cabbage will actually be providing us a special chemical that we can use to test these solutions, right? So cabbage is a pretty cool piece of produce, okay? All right, so cabbage is going to give us our pH indicator. So cabbage actually has this special chemical called anthocyanin, okay? I know you guys are on mute, but if everyone can say anthocyanin, that'd be great, okay? You guys don't have to unmute yourselves. You can just say it at home, anthocyanin, which we will actually extract to make an indicator solution. So anthocyanin is a chemical found in red and purple cabbage. And it's purple under neutral conditions, but it'll actually change color when it's added to either an acid or a base, okay? So we're gonna use this deep purple solution that you guys may have made or may have not made, but you will have it, right? So you will use this deep red purple solution to add to other solutions and then compare the color change to our pH scale that I just showed you before, okay? And anthocyanin can also be found in roses and berries. So it's a very, it's a I wouldn't say common, but you can definitely tell the color of it by the color of the produce, right? So when an acid is added to an indicator solution, the acid actually donates protons to the water molecules, which increases the concentration of hydronium ions. So I know I haven't said the word hydronium yet, but hydronium ions are really just another word for those hydrogen ions that we were talking about in the first slide, right? So you increase the concentration of hydronium or hydrogen ions in acids, and then that causes the indicator solution to actually change towards a more color suited for acids. Okay, so that's the science behind that. You have an acid donating protons to the indicator solution, which allows the change of color, okay? And then when a base is added to an indicator solution, it accepts those protons from the water molecules, which creates those hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions, which causes the hydroxide ions to increase, and it allows the indicator solution to change color towards purple. Okay, so I hope that's making sense. If you guys have any questions about that at all, please feel free to chat with me in the chat down below, and I'll try to answer your questions the best that I can. So now that we have that background information, what we're going to do is start the activity, okay? So I actually have a video that I have pre-recorded showing you how to do the experiment. And while we're watching the video, I'm going to also stop in between to answer any questions and just like clarify a few things, okay? And remember, these videos are being recorded. So when you guys get the recording, you guys can stop and pause and do all of that to your discretion at home, okay? Awesome. So I'm going to go to my okay. Share this screen. Okay. All right, so this is the video that I made, and I'm just going to start playing it and then stop during parts that might need clarification, okay? Now that we have our cabbage solution prepared, we will use our cabbage pH indicator solution to indicate the pH of various different solutions found in our household or at the grocery store. So it's important to note that the pH scale is very important because it gives you a visual guide as well as a number guide to test the pH of a solution. As you will notice on the pH scale, our acids tend to fall in the red, orange, and yellow category. Our neutral solutions fall in the green category, and our basic solutions fall in the blue, purple, and deep purple category. Similarly, our acids fall with a pH below 7. Our neutral solutions fall with a pH at 7, and our basic solutions fall with a pH number of 7 to 14, right? So our most acidic solutions will be below 7, 1 being the most acidic, and our most basic solutions will be from 8 to 14, with our most basic solution having a pH of 14. So what we're going to do in our experiment is we're going to take about 10 to 15 mils of our cabbage pH indicator solution, add that to our various solutions, and see a color change. Using that color change, we're going to arrange our solutions in accordance to the pH scale, with our reds, orange, and yellows being on the left side, our greens, our neutral solutions, being in the middle, and our blues, purples, and deep purples being on the right side. So you should already have your solutions prepared. I've used beakers. So I'm going to stop here. Does anyone need to see the cabbage solution prep video really quick? Does anyone need to see it at all? You guys can tell me in the chat. If not, then we can just continue, and then Miss Carrie Ann will send you guys the video, okay? All right, sweet. Because I'm in the lab, but you can use plastic cups. So you should have vinegar, apple juice, distilled water, lemon juice, bleach, Alka-Seltzer and vinegar, milk of magnesia, baking soda in water, salt water, and then Alka-Seltzer in water. Some of you may already have an indication of what solutions will be our acids and what will be our bases. That is totally fine. We love background knowledge. However, in order to confirm that, we are going to use our cabbage solution and see the color change, right? So we're first going to start out with our vinegar. Another name for vinegar is acetic acid. Now, with the name acid, you might be thinking, oh, it's definitely an acid. But let's check. So I have my vinegar here. I'm going to take about 15 mils of the cabbage solution. So you guys can see, I'm pouring about 10 mils. We'll do 10 mils. Okay. Beautiful, deep purple color from our cabbage, right? Our anthocyanin from our cabbage, that special chemical that helps us to use it as a pH indicator solution, right? So we're going to add it to our vinegar, and please notice the color change. Whoa, look at that, right? So that's a beautiful, bright red. Okay, so we can probably say, yeah, that's an acid. And with a name like acetic acid, it makes sense. So since vinegar is an acid, we're going to keep it to the far left because our acids are going to the left, our neutral solutions in the middle, and our basic solutions to the right. Okay, so now we're going to move to apple juice. So apple juice, you may not know if it's an acid or a base, but you guys go ahead and guess in your head what you think it might be. So we have our apple juice. We're going to take about 10 mils of our anthocyanin. We're going to pour that in, and whoa, another color change. Okay, so this one's a little bit darker. So in comparison, we would say that apple juice is actually less acidic than vinegar, which makes sense. Vinegar is or acetic acid is a pretty strong acid, right? We don't just go around drinking vinegar, right? But we do drink apple juice, which is great. So since it is less acidic and more basic, we're actually going to keep apple juice to the right of the vinegar. All right, next is our distilled water. Does everyone have their cups portioned out? Can I see that? Oh, sorry. Still, does everyone have their cups portioned out? All right, awesome. Does anyone not have their cups portioned out? Because that's totally okay. All right, so are you guys at the, do you guys already have your cups lined up, or should I wait for you guys to get your cups lined up? You get, yeah, you guys can unmute. Or I'll unmute you, I'm sorry.
We don't.
You don't? Okay, that's totally fine. So for those, okay, so Steve, okay, cool. I see you guys have that. Okay. So is the speed that the video is going, is that okay? Or do you guys want me to stop in between each solution? You guys just let me know what you want. Carrie Ann, okay, you raise your hand.
No.
All right, Carrie Ann, what'd you need to say?
Hang on, hold on. Let's just give everyone a minute to gather their cups and their pre-poured solutions.
Okay.
Then we'll go forward. I think some families have them ready, but not everyone does. So maybe let's just take 5 minutes to get everyone set up, and then we will we'll continue pouring our indicator solution from there.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll give you guys, it's 1:31 now. I'll give you guys until 1:36 to get your cups all in order, okay? And remember in the video, I said we're using about 15 mils, which is, Siri, what is 15 mils in ounces? Which is about 0.5 ounces, so half an ounce, okay? Half an ounce of solution. Does anyone have any questions? We have about 3 minutes. If you guys have any questions, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand so I can unmute you. You guys don't have to worry about writing in the chat, okay? And if you guys don't have your solutions already in-house, that's totally fine. Remember, we are sending you the recording. So that gives you free reign to do to start the video whenever you'd like and all of that. So you don't have to worry about having all your stuff right now.
Do you have that list of, or could you show the containers in the order?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let me share my screen. All right. Are you able to see the list?
Yes. Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so does everyone have their solutions prepared? Zoe's group, I see you guys with yours. Good job. No, it's not prepared? What's wrong? Okay.
Can you put the list up again?
Yeah.
Hey, what are we supposed to do with the cream of tartar?
So, the what?
What are we supposed to do with the cream of tartar?
The cream of tartar? Is that, I'm sorry.
The cream of tartar is for the circuitry experiment that is taking place tomorrow.
Okay, so if you guys look in the chat, Miss Carrie Ann has put the list of the solutions in the order that they are in the video. So you should have vinegar first, then apple juice, then water. Tap water is fine. Lemon juice, bleach, Alka-Seltzer in vinegar, milk of magnesia, baking soda, which has been dissolved in water, salt water, and then Alka-Seltzer in water. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna restart the video. Is that okay? No? Okay. You guys need a few more minutes? That's fine. Are you good? All right, sweet. So I'm going to, first let me get back to where I was. Okay, also, so for those who have their solutions prepared, did you guys put the indicator solution into the vinegar? So make sure you do that. So make sure you've put a little bit of your, no, not yet? Okay, so put your indicator solution in your vinegar. So get your first cup together and then notice the color change. Okay, what color did it, can't really, is it like a red? Yeah, all right, sweet, awesome, very good. Oh, that's cool, you guys are using, oh, that's awesome. Okay, Michelle, you got your red, awesome. Ooh, that's a pretty red. All right, good job, Zoe's crew, good job. All right, so perfect, good job. So now that you guys have put your solution in your vinegar, now do it for the apple juice, okay? Go ahead and do it for your apple juice. Okay, cool. All right, so it's still kind of, is it still kind of reddish? All right, so thumbs up if it's darker, thumbs down if it's lighter. Thumbs up if it's darker, thumbs down if it's lighter. So dark, light. Okay, so it's lighter. Okay, and yours is darker. Okay, so depending on what type of apple juice you guys got or what type of vinegar, then you guys can put them in order. So your more potent dark reds are going to be closer to your left. So if your apple juice is actually darker than your vinegar, then it would go to the left of your vinegar. Whereas if your apple juice is lighter than your vinegar, then it would go to the right. Okay? All right, so now we're going to start the video again. And I'm gonna let the video play, and as you guys are seeing me add the solution, you'll do that same thing, okay? And then like I said before, I'll stop in between for any clarification. And if you guys have any questions, just make sure to ask them in the chat box. Right? But we do drink apple juice, which is great. So since it is less acidic and more basic, we're actually going to keep apple juice to the right of the vinegar. All right, next is our distilled water. So once again, you guys may already know what the pH of water is. You should know if you were paying attention to my PowerPoint. But we're just going to test it with our cabbage solution. So we're gonna pour that in there. So that was, okay, that's more of a purple. That's interesting, okay. So since that's more of a purple, we're actually going to put that more towards the, way farther from the acids, right? Okay. So now we have lemon juice. Now lemon juice, you know, is the juice of a lemon is considered citric acid. And like vinegar, right, which was acetic acid, you may be able to guess where it's gonna fall on the pH scale. But once again, we're gonna test it. Whoa, okay. So you guys may not be able to see it, but our lemon juice is actually going to fall in between the apple juice and the vinegar, okay? So it's not as bright of a red as the vinegar, but it's up there. And it's definitely brighter of a red than the apple juice, okay? All right, so now we got our handy dandy bleach. Let's see where bleach falls. Once again, we're taking about 10 mils of our Cabbage pH solution. We're gonna add it to our bleach. Whoa! Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's where I actually want to,
It looks like
Yes, you're unmuted.
that's where I actually want to clarify. Okay, so your bleach, so when I first added my anthocyanin, if you can tell, the bleach actually becomes like a very dark green, and then it starts to mix with it and goes back to its original color. So that may be a little confusing because you're thinking, oh, this bleach actually looks more yellow, maybe golden. So is it an acid? But it's actually a base. So when you add your anthocyanin to your bleach, pay attention to the first immediate color change that you see, and you'll notice that it's a very dark green. And if it's a dark green, that should tell you that it's a base. That's why I added that boing noise, because it did the wrong thing. Well, it did the right thing, but it's not showing the color that it should actually be. So once again, bleach is actually a base, okay? All right, so back to the video. So now we have Alka-Seltzer and vinegar. This one might be a head scratcher because Alka-Seltzer, since it's pretty chalky, you would think it's a base, but then when you add it to vinegar, which is an acid, it's like, okay, what's gonna happen? So let's test it out. Okay, so the Alka-Seltzer won on that. It definitely won on that. So it's not as purple as like a very rich, deep base would be, but it does fall in the basic category. So, okay, we're gonna test it with the Alka-Seltzer and water later and see if that made a change at all, because the vinegar is a pretty strong acid. So we're gonna do, our distilled water is becoming like that deep purple. I'm gonna place it here. Okay. Now we have our milk of magnesia. I'm sure you guys can guess what type of solution this will be, remember, because certain solutions are bitter and chalky, right, and milky. Wow, look at that beautiful color. Wow, okay, that's beautiful. Okay, so because it's green, it's not
It's turquoise.
No, it's super green now.
more of like
Now it's just forest.
away from these acids. Next,
That's crazy.
guys,
That's amazing.
guys, there you go. It's a chalky, bitter tasting solution. All right, baking soda. Let's see what baking soda is. Okay, we're gonna pour that in there. Whoa, okay, that's also very green. So this is green and milk of magnesia is green. Now, our brighter colors, remember, go towards the left. So with this being a darker green, our baking soda is actually more basic than milk of magnesia. All right, then we have our salt water. We're gonna add 10 mils of that anthocyanin solution again. Okay, and it's giving a dark purple again. But I wonder if it's as dark as the distilled. Yeah, they seem about the same. Okay, and then lastly, we have our Alka-Seltzer and water. So our Alka-Seltzer and vinegar here was like a very nice not mauve, but like a fuchsia, like a dark fuchsia, yeah. So darker fuchsia. Let's see if there is a change when you change the liquid that we add the Alka-Seltzer in. Wow, hey, yeah, so the water made it a little bit darker. Wow, okay. So this is actually pretty surprising. So we're going to put this here. And then, these are more blue, yeah. Okay, wow. So these are actually very surprising, some of them. So if you put together this rainbow and compare it to your pH scale, you can see that our acids are vinegar, lemon juice, apple juice. Those are more acidic, right? Then we have milk of magnesia and baking soda that fall. I wouldn't necessarily say that they fall in the neutral category. They are more neutral than other solutions, but traditionally milk of magnesia and baking soda are actually bases. They're pretty strong bases. So I'm not sure what other chemicals they might be mixed with, but traditionally they are more basic. But they do fall within that rule of not being an acid, right? So they're not orange, they're not yellow, they're not red. So we can give ourselves a thumbs up for the fact that it's not an acid. So our solution is working. And then Alka-Seltzer and vinegar gave us that purple reddish color, which honestly, depending on how you look at it, you may even put Alka-Seltzer and vinegar in the acid because it does look like a purpley red. But because of that Alka-Seltzer, I would keep it as a base. Then our Alka-Seltzer and water, as well as our salt water and distilled water, came out to be the most basic solutions in our solutions today. But remember, traditionally, water is a neutral solution. So it does fall in the middle of things. I'm sure if we use stronger bases, such as sodium hydroxide, I'm sure those would be even darker. So this is a really good start with our pH, and it does show that our cabbage solution works, right? So that chemical, the anthocyanin in cabbage, really did help us to indicate what solutions of ours are acids, what solutions of ours are neutral, and what solutions of ours are basic. So give yourselves a round of applause for completing this experiment, and we look forward to you guys tuning into us every week with the CSL. Okay. Yay! All right, so did everyone get through their solutions? Yeah, okay, awesome. Cool, did anyone have any questions at all? Oh, Zoe's crew, your liquids are looking bomb. Good job. Awesome. Okay, you guys all did a really, really great job. And remember, since we are using a cabbage indicator solution, some of the colors may not match up. But since you guys now know more about acids and bases, you can do a little bit more reasoning as to, should this really be here? Should this not be here? So just remember that bleach is actually a base, not an acid, and water is neutral. It is not a base, okay? All right, so what I'm gonna do, our last couple of minutes, I'm gonna give you guys the poll again, and let's see after the lecture and the experiment, how you guys answer this, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys the poll. Oh, let me. Okay, so this is gonna be our post questions. I'm gonna launch the poll for you guys. Go ahead and answer them. All right, we got a few more people that still need to answer. So we'll give you guys a couple more minutes. You guys are knocking out some of the questions. You guys are doing a great job. All right, so we just have two more people. All right, sweet. So everyone has voted, right? That's what it's showing me. Awesome. Okay, so you guys definitely did way better than before, and you guys already did pretty great on the first poll. So I'm really proud of you guys for completing this experiment. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, so give yourselves a round of applause for completing this lab. And here at the CSL, we just wish that you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and join us next week for another lab, okay? All right, have a great one, guys. Bye.